out another video. Why? Because I want the turnout rate for the California recall to be higher than what they are predicting. So I'll be talking to you until September 14th.
Virtually no state income tax. Fixing the DMV?
Inconceivable! At 17 years old, I came to California with $1,000 and a dream.
Meet Kevin Petrath. He is a real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur. He is a self-made millionaire. He is a YouTube sensation with well over 1.5 million subscribers. He is a resident of California and running for governor. Now, as we all know, California is a hot mess right now with people.
So we'll come back to this YouTuber who is, we'll go ahead and call
some of the highest
the real deal.
In the US,
so that was the real deal right there. Okay, so I was talking about a new beginning. A new beginning. This is not Lord of the Flies when they killed Piggy, since he represented civilization. This is when Jonathan Garvey leaves, you know, good old Walnut Grove, Minnesota, and goes to Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. So this is actually when he gets fired and gets kicked off the show, and they go a different way. We're like, you know, sorry, Jonathan Garvey, the actor of we don't really know behind the scenes what the hell was going on. But you know what? Pete Rawlings, he was arrested with the long gun. Pete Rawlings was arrested with the long gun. So people sit there and try to say that, you know, this is about some kind of liberal trash because it's promoting gun control. I very much walked away from this thinking, yeah, that hoodlum motherfucker did deserve to get shot. Yeah, that Pete Rawlings did deserve to get arrested. So I did not gather gun control being the secret principle behind the show What's a Goddamn Dever. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say something here. I'm trying to say something. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm trying to say something. I'm trying to say some new stuff, right? Okay. So 70% of the time, Larry Elder is trying to raise some money. Now, is that any different than what Tim fucking Mahoney was trying to do? Tim Mahoney, though, he wasn't going around begging for money. Tim Mahoney was going around stealing money. This is a 20-year-old hoodlum named Tim motherfucking Mahoney, and then Elijah Patman is the banker, okay? So what's going to happen is Elijah Patman, the banker, is going to have to kill Tim motherfucking Mahoney. Why? Because Tim motherfucking Mahoney, not only Tim Mahoney and his hoodlums, he robbed Jonathan Garvey once when he first got into town, but he robbed him yet once again. He went to the sheriff didn't do shit, then he robbed him again. So the sheriff again says without obvious positive ID, he ain't going to arrest shit. So then he says, well, hold on. If he stole something, then he's got the goods, and if we can find the goods, and then they eventually find out who it is, and they confront Tim motherfucking Mahoney. He apologizes. Daddy, I'm sorry. I won't do that. I'll be a good boy, Daddy. And you know, they went ahead and relent. They went ahead and relented. Jonathan Garvey had been actually made deputy by the city council. I think they hired him to work under the sheriff, Pike the sheriff, and he wanted to press charges, but he believed Tim motherfucking Mahoney and let him go yet once again. But what the fuck does he do? What does he do? Yet once again, he carries on with his criminal activity. So, before that happens, Charles Ingalls, he finds some of the stolen goods, and it traces back to Pete Rawlings, who was the private security guard, the main motherfucker that goes up to John Garvey in the very beginning, the private hired gun. He was the head of the criminal ring, so it was a shakedown. Hey, I'm here to, you know, you pay me money for protection, and if you don't pay me money, then I'm going to get my goons to rob you. So it's a shakedown. He ain't there to protect nobody. He don't care to protect and serve anybody. He's just a fucking criminal fucking piece of shit, just a low life, and eventually he's going to get arrested with a long gun. So if this is anti-gun, how did we arrest Pete Rawlings? We couldn't have arrested Pete Rawlings without the gun, right? They got the drop on him, and that was it. He just went, you know, he knew he was, and went away peacefully. They're going to cart him away in a prison wagon. So Pete Rawlings gets arrested, but does that stop Tim Mahoney? He doesn't have his fucking, you know, main money maker. He doesn't have that, you know, the fucking Pimp Daddy C or whatever to sell his goods to. So what is Tim Mahoney going to do? Well, he's going to beat up Andy Garvey. Okay, thanks a lot, Father, right? Andy Garvey, Jonathan Garvey, and Andy Garvey try to go to Sleepy Eye, Minnesota to make a life for themselves. Yet Jonathan Garvey got robbed not once, but twice, and now you got Andy Garvey getting his ass kicked. His son, young son. So Tim Mahoney and company, they beat the shit out of Andy Garvey, and so what the fuck, right? Goddamn Jonathan Garvey, they left, nice and comfortable, peaceful Walnut Grove, and he's supposed to protect his son. But when they was in Walnut Grove, everybody knew everybody. Everybody knows your name in a good way. They left nice, wonderful Christian Walnut Grove, Minnesota, to come to this shithole, this criminal country, this criminal shithole, Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. Jesus Christ. Here's a California connection. California, go vote, you stupid motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. If there's a time for revolution, it's the time when it's like, hey, Larry Elder might become the governor. Well, what would that take? Our apathy and complacency? Well, we better not say nothing. Okay. Shh. Let's stay asleep. That's the reason why you got the fucking problems that you got now, California. Go vote, California. Mail-in ballots. It's easy. But Walnut Grove, actually none of this was in Minnesota, right? All this was out of California. This was Walnut Grove, Minnesota. Was actually filmed at the Big Sky Movie Ranch on 4927 Bennett Road in Simi Valley, of course. Simi Valley, right? Napa Valley, Central Valley, Silicon Valley, and now Simi Valley. So in Simi Valley, that's where Walnut Grove, Minnesota, that's where they filmed this. It was filmed in California. None of this actually happened in goddamn Minnesota. The hell, it probably happened on the same goddamn set. The private ranch has actually been a prominent spot for lots of Hollywood filmmakers. So Simi Ranch is not just a spot for Charles Ingalls, whatever that. Now, I want to talk about why I think this is my favorite episode. I like this episode a lot. It's got a satisfactory ending, and he might say, oh, I wish I didn't have the gun because I didn't want to kill him and I feel so bad. That's how you're supposed to feel. You're a psycho if you're like, yeah, that motherfucker deserved it, shot him, I don't feel bad a bit. You should feel a little bit bad if you're a good person. You don't want to really hurt anybody, right? If you had to do what you had to do, right, fuck you, you try to hurt me, motherfucker, and then, oh, shit. Man, the fuck did you do that for? So John Garvey became a deputy. John Garvey became a deputy, right? He goes, tells the sheriff, hey sheriff, you got these criminal motherfuckers doing these crimes to me. The sheriff doesn't give a shit. The city council makes John Garvey a deputy. So there's a path. Become the deputy. Become a cop. Once he becomes a cop, then he can go ahead and, investigate the damn thing himself. Now, that's also another argument for guns. So they arrested Pete Rawlings, right? They arrested Pete Rawlings. They stopped that, Tim motherfucking Mahoney from robbing the bank. And cops have guns. Cops have guns. In fact, Jonathan Garvey thought it was okay that Pete Rawlings, the private security guard, had a gun because, people expect him to have a gun. He's a private security guard. So the criminal activity was stopped by the guns. Good guys with guns stopped the bad guy with guns. And we're supposed to believe that cops and the security guards, but the bankers and the civilians can't have guns. I think it's just something to talk about. They had to put, put dialogue in somewhere, right? They had to talk about something. What the fuck else were they going to talk about? And then a banker, I don't understand why a banker can't defend. A private citizen should be allowed to defend themselves in their own goddamn home. But a banker is not only a private citizen, but he's got a business where he's, sitting on literally a pile of money. He's got a money bin, right? He's got a fucking safe, a pile of gold and shit. That's a lot of motive for anybody and everybody to want to fuck him up and rob him and take what he's got. If anything, a banker has way more, more of a reason to have a fucking gun than the rest of us. And then later on, the city council hires John Garvey as sheriff, fires Pike the sheriff, but Garvey refuses the job because he liked Pike the sheriff that much. So that's why I like the episode. It shows what a person could do. Go to the sheriff, he says, we ain't going to do shit. Well, then I'm going to become deputy and I'm going to do something about, about this shit myself. When you're the victim of the crime, you can keep on being a victim and nobody, not even the police, is going to do about it. So you got to do something, right? You got to become a deputy. You got to get the city council to hire you on as sheriff. You don't really want to step on anybody's toes, but you got to stand up for yourself and do something right? because, become the sheriff, become the deputy, maybe become a hired gun, private detective. And then you could go after the criminal rat bastard fucks yourself. Now I can investigate and make the arrest. There's a path forward. I like it because John Garvey, he fits in Sleepy Eye perfectly. He went after the criminals when the sheriff didn't. This is what the town wanted. This is what the town needed. The town saw the bravery in John Garvey, wanted to hire him, above the sheriff. The sheriff had hired, I think the sheriff actually hired him, and then the city council agreed to it later on or some shit. But the city council is then going to try to promote Garvey over the sheriff and then fire Pike, which that seems crazy, but it just shows you how good of a guy John Garvey is. He says ever since he put that badge on, his son's been, looking at him like he's a hero. So John Garvey stays humble, saying he's only going to stay on as deputy because he was okay with, working with the sheriff. So that gives a path forward. That's why I like a new beginning. It gives a path forward. What do you do when a bunch of motherfuckers are fucking with you and the cops ain't doing shit? Well, you could become a cop yourself. You could become a deputy, do the investigating yourself, find the stolen goods, find that Pete Rawlings is really Mr. Spokes or some shit. He was in on the thievery, selling the hot goods. Arrest him with a gun. Shoot the, goddamn Tim Mahoney. Give him what he, deserved. His father was dog shit. Maybe we could be somewhat sympathetic to Tom Mahoney, but not really. He's already an adult. He's in his fucking 20s. He had a gun. We're supposed to just roll the dice. And the banker's just supposed to stay there and roll the dice with his own life. Maybe, Tom Mahoney, maybe, or was it Tom Mahoney? Tim Mahoney? Maybe Tim Mahoney is going to fucking pull the trigger. Maybe Tim Mahoney is not going to pull the trigger. Aren't younger men aggressive anyways, more prone to violence and criminality? Knowing that, you shouldn't play with the goddamn, there's a young man with a gun trying to rob the bank. Should I play with this? Yeah, right. Motherfucker saying, you don't think I will, do you? You don't think I will? So basically he's just trying to get the banker to bait him into an argument, to get him going, to get him all excited. A good guy with a gun, stop the bad man with a gun. So that's the lesson of this episode. The banker may have concluded to never, ever carry a gun again, but that's, I concluded differently. It was a good man with a gun who stopped the bad man with a gun. Maybe he wouldn't have shot, maybe he would have, but his intent was to steal from the bank. And in some respects, that's stealing from all the bank's customers, assuming that they're, on the up and up. Banks are notorious at fucking people over, though. But the banker, being a private citizen who, wasn't fraudulent, wasn't screwing people over, all he did was stop a man who pointed a gun at him with evil criminal intent that was going to fuck him over and all his customers over, that would ruin his business. He prevented him from stealing from his bank and ruining him and his business and his life and financing the criminal operation. Or, letting Tim Mahoney steal from anybody else ever again. So no good person wants to hurt anybody, let alone, point a gun at them and say, hey, I dare you to be shitty to me now. I dare you to, no good person wants to hurt anybody. So Tim Mahoney the whole fucking time wanted to hurt somebody. He was a criminal the whole fucking time. There's cops with guns. There's private security with guns. The private people with guns, criminals with guns. They all had guns. And the people that lived at the end were the good people with guns because they had shot first. Hell, what happened was it was an accident. Jonathan Garvey walks in, and the banker accidentally shoots and kills Tim Mahoney, but Tim Mahoney could have been the one that accidentally shot. It could have been either one of them. Either one of them could have shot first. They both had pistols on each other, and actually, that's when you have pistols on each other, neither one shoots, because once the other one shoots, the other one's going to shoot. So they end up both shooting at the same time. So it's actually kind of crazy that the banker shot. Tim Mahoney didn't shoot even in self-defense, I guess, even in, as a, oh shit, you just shot me, I'm going to shoot you back. And was he, we're going to assume, I guess, shot and killed right there on the spot. So yeah, that's why I like the episode, because it shows you the path forward. The damn sheriff didn't do shit, then become the fucking deputy. Get the city council to hire you on as deputy, and if he tries to stop you, just become the fucking sheriff. So there you go. That's one way forward, right? You could go Tim Mahoney's way, just, start your own little criminal band to fight against the other criminal bands and just have be a bunch of, like Afghanistan, like a bunch of warlords, just a bunch of criminal warlord, bands, a bunch of tribalistic criminal warlord bands all over the place. We could try it that way, too. So there you go, new beginning. One of my favorite episodes of The Little House on the Prairie, Season 7, Episode 3.